Kids Church, did you know that CRC is celebrating its 30th birthday? How cool is that? To celebrate this amazing occasion, we will be taking a trip down memory lane to see how and where it all started. Over the past 30 years, God has been so good and so faithful to us as a church. We will celebrate this goodness and faithfulness over the next 10 weeks by looking at how our church has grown and how God has used us in our communities. As some of you might know, CRC started as a dream God gave Pastor Art. So I'll start at the very beginning by telling you more about the senior pastor of CRC and our spiritual father, Pastor Art Bosho. Pastor Art was born on the 30th of December 1964 in Bloemfontein. At age 17, Pastor Art was invited to church by his brother and gave his life to Jesus, and this is where his journey began. At age 20, after spending some time in the army, Pastor Art started studying law at university, but God had other plans for his life. In 1986, Pastor Art was called into full-time ministry, and for the next 3 years, he submitted to his pastor and faithfully served in the local church while attending Bible school. A year after getting called into ministry, Pastor Art and Pastor Narita got married. Today, they have 3 amazing children who all love the Lord and also work in full-time ministry at CRC. Pastor Angelique, who most of you will know as our head of Kids Church, Pastor David, who works in Johannesburg, and Pastor Chanel, who works in CRC Pretoria. In the 1980s, Pastor Art was at a conference in Toronto, Canada, when God gave him a vision that changed everything. In this vision, he saw hundreds of thousands of people streaming through the gates of hell, but very little people going through the gates of heaven. This is why Pastor Art always says that we are here to plunder hell and populate heaven, and why he is so passionate to win the lost at any cost. Pastor Art truly has a heart for the lost, which is why he lives out Luke 4 verse 18 to 19, which we have learned throughout this year. It is our responsibility to tell people about Jesus and to show them the path to salvation. In 1988, God sent Pastor Art and Pastor Narita to Ladybrand, a small town in the Free State, to plant their first church. Pastor Art, from the very beginning, was very intentional and very clear that everyone was welcome, no matter what race, age, gender, or social class. In our country at that time, most churches only represented one race. But Pastor Art built a church for everyone, where everyone was welcome. In 1994, 30 years ago, they moved back to Bloemfontein to officially start the first Christian revival church, with only 120 members. But Pastor Art continued to build a multiracial, multi-generational church. Today, there are more than 90 CRC churches. Did you hear that? 90 CRC churches with hundreds of thousands of members whose lives have been touched and changed by Jesus all over the world because of Pastor Art's persistence and obedience. Pastor Art's sermons are broadcasted all over the world on One Gospel, TBN Africa, and Faith TV to countries like Pakistan, Iran, America, Israel, Russia, and China, and many more nations. I can tell you more and more about CRC, but I'll let you guys wait until next week as we continue with our 30-year celebration series. Kids Church, we are truly blessed with the best. We have a leader who loves people, a spiritual father who fights for us and the youth of South Africa, and a pastor who doesn't just tell us how to live like Jesus, but shows us how to walk like Jesus. As we celebrate 30 years this year, we also celebrate you, Pastor Art. We thank you.